modus operandi every morning. Thanks very much for coming along, Paul. Our first subject was punctuality. Thanks very much for coming along. Obviously, Nicola is leaving us sadly today, and I've worked alongside her for a number of years, and she has the uncanny and slightly worrying ability to finish my sentence and second guess what I'm going to say next. Hopefully I can surprise her a wee bit this time with this. She also claims that Ed Sheeran is a lyrical genius, but Ed has never written anything as good as this. Although, thankfully I won't be singing it. Although I could maybe do better than Ed. Humble opinion. I first met Nicola just before she joined the council in 2004, when I was invited to be part of the interview panel for the then Community Care Planning Team clerical assistant post based at Whitefriars, which Nicola had applied for. Nicola did so well at her interview, she wasn't actually offered the post at first, but thankfully fates intervened and she did eventually take up the post. It was clear to see then, from those early days, that Nicola had great potential, as she displays then, as she continues to do so now. An aptitude to get the job done to the best of her ability, a great willingness to help out in any way she can, and an eagerness to learn and to get involved in new pieces of work. As a result, Nicola soon moved on to a promoted post, supporting our then senior management, alongside such luminaries as Kathleen Watt and Margaret Monroe, where they had the unenviable task of keeping David Burke, Jim Dean, and even Lorna Cameron on their toes. Following this, in a rather bizarre career move for someone who memorably stated, "Counting is two of my least favourite things," she took up a fixed-term post of Financial Assessment Officer. It was in 2007 that Nicola took up a current position as a Contract Compliance Officer, initially on a temporary basis and then obtaining the position on a permanent basis, and she has been at my right hand, literally, ever since. During that time, I hope I've been a wise counsel and guiding influence on Nicola, but it's fair to say that she's also taught me quite a few things. Shellac nails, and I think the merits of hair extensions and how they work, and which hair dye itches the most. All things which my other staff member, Dave Henderson, has never been able to provide the same degree of expertise on it. And I won't even start to tell you her tattoo tales, although we have all seen, even though we weren't expecting to. Working in such close proximity to someone for so many years, you do get to know them quite well, and that's the case with Nicola. Nicola is, by her own admission, a bit of a diva, a drama queen, a dating disaster, a dunce at maths, a bit dropsy, and she drinks too much coffee. But enough about her strengths. Seriously, she's diligent, dedicated, devoted to getting the best quality service for people, regardless of the area of work she's involved in, be that her care at home work, her equalities work, or those service level agreements she monitors. As well as being highly thought of by her colleagues, so many of whom have shown this by turning up here, or are coming along tonight, or have passed on good wishes and made her cry all week. She's also very highly regarded by those she helps in our communities. Each year she's the only non-Chinese person who gets invited to the annual Perthshire Chinese Community Association outing. This has seen her undertake a range of widespread activities including berry picking, fishing, cycling, and although this has involved her getting up very early in the morning, something which is definitely not a strength, memorably she was also invited to be part of the Chinese women's group traditional paddle dance at the New Year's celebrations, footage of which may still be available on YouTube if you search carefully. Her efforts have made a real difference to the lives of our minority ethnic communities in Perth and Kinross, and she will be sorely missed by them. After all, who else could use her charms to close a street at rush hour, get 2 police horses to parade down the high street, and reroute a bus for the Chinese New Year parade? Her efforts on behalf of the Chinese community were recognised by them at an emotional lunch club earlier this week, when Nicola was presented with a parting gift by them, and also by the RVS volunteers who help at the club. In addition, at the Saints Football Memories Project, Nicola was so popular they brought the Scottish Cup out every visit she made. And now, sadly, we also have clear evidence of how highly valued Nicola is by the independent care at home sector, as they've offered her a new job. I know that Nicola has been evaluating where she is in her life recently, and this new job is part of that journey. And to be honest, I think that's been on the card since we left Whitefriars and came to Pooler House. Prior to that, and I'm sure there's no one that Nicola hasn't already told this to, Nicola has only ever worked at Whitefriars since she joined the council. Adapting to Pooler House has clearly been a step too far for Nicola. The loss of the car parking space, an extra couple of flights of stairs when she needs to pop out for a fag, the lack of a window to gaze longingly out of, the clear desk policy, the further distance from her GP surgery, no more handsome firemen upstairs at Whitefriars. However, on a more positive note, the Wi-Fi coverage at Pooler House seems to be fine. Nicola still seems to be able to get a good connection on her mobile phone frequently. Anyway, to close, I deliberately used a lot of words beginning with D when I was outlining Nicola's strengths earlier. And that's because there's only one real word left to say how we felt when Nicola advised us she was leaving. Devastated. Not only are we losing a valued, knowledgeable and important colleague in our team, we are losing someone who's a good friend and who brightens up most days, most of our working days, with her positive, cheery outlook and her workplace banter. We've got a few gifts here from everybody, Nicola, so all the best in the future, thanks for everything. And I never mentioned the dragon boat race. Just hope to see you back for the social work quiz.
Oh, of course. Although I won't be helping set it up and I will not miss that.
Thanks very much. You'll be reassured, everybody, that your money was spent wisely because Dave Henderson and I were not allowed to do that. So, want to do this?
Can they drop them?
Yes, it's probably not the best care for people who should be handing over gifts to each other.
Thank you.
Well done.
Okay. I've been crying all week, you've probably all seen it, so I've got shares in Kleenex, so when I leave we'll all be financially sorted. I just want to say thanks to each and every one of you. It's been a pleasure working with you all over the years. I've learned a lot of things, specifically mostly from David, who's been a great mentor. But there's times he's probably wanted to throttle me quite often, but he's never done so yet, although we've still got time because I'm going till 3:30. I have cherished the time that I've been here. I've gained lots of important skills, which I'll hopefully take over when I go to work for the independent sector. I hope to see you all again because I'll be back in here. You won't get rid of me probably that easily. I'll just be wearing a different hat. And again, just thank you all for your help and support over the years, and I hope to see you all for a drink tonight where I won't be crying and I will just be cheery and happy as always. And I'll be in time if I get to leave before 3:30. Thank you all, it does mean a lot. Thanks.